up, you guys? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on #confirmed, we're going to be digging into Primetime 219. That is a lot of episodes to take our first ever look at Elite Alerts. Now, do keep in mind that they are thinking about changing the name up a little bit, so Elite Alerts is probably not going to be the final product of it. However, this is going to be the prototype of the type of alert where you only get one life. It's a challenge mode, so it's increased level, and they've got some other extra goodies to add on top of that. Now, do keep in mind this is a prototype. They did do it on the dev build. There were a couple crashes, so you might see that on screen. However, the most important part of this is they're probably open to feedback, and I'm planning on leaving some in this video, so feel free to go ahead and jump into either the comments or actually even better jump into the forums and let them know how you feel about what you've seen so far. So I've got some talking points to give you guys kind of an idea of what's going down. So, as you guys know, when it comes down to Elite Alerts, the big thing that they are kind of pressing forward is there are no revives. So once you are dead, yo ass is dead. And they made it very clear tonight that there aren't even any bleed out timers. So if you're down and out, you're out. Same thing goes for your pets, unless you have a sentinel that has like primed regen on, which should be able to keep itself up. They didn't make any notes of whether those pets would actually be able to bring you back up, but they did say that there was no bleed out timer. So I'm assuming that the pets might be able to revive themselves, or the sentinels will be able to revive themselves, but the players will not be able to be revived by these sentinels' abilities. At least that's what I'm currently believing is the understanding for no bleed out timers whatsoever. Now, the interesting thing about this is while this does have an increase in level, so originally when they spoke about it, they said that it was going to be a higher level challenge. I'm kind of disappointed because on the dev stream, so in addition to the no bleed out timers, they originally said that it was going to be like 80 to 100. Now they've lowered it down to 60. Which, to be completely honest with you, kind of makes me feel a little bit like, you said this was supposed to be a challenge. 60 isn't a challenge. 60 doesn't even register when you go into like the simulacrum to try to do a challenge simulation. Like, you go 100 or you don't go at all. So, I mean, 80 seemed like a feasible place to start in, but 60 is just, I'm sorry, you're softballing it for the new kids. I'm just gonna tell it how it is. This is not supposed to be a new kid accessible mission. Give it to the players who've invested some time and energy and are ready to take on a real challenge. 60 is too low. Now, the next thing that they did want to introduce to kind of counteract that and almost introduce a little bit of, what's the word I want to say, a little bit of variation and kind of encourage you to play maybe some frames that you don't normally play, is they have something called player boons every hour. So these are little buffs, well, not even little, I saw the numbers, and maybe the numbers are just kind of like placeholders, but they did have player boons every hour, and they rotate. So when I say player boons, you could get something like Rebecca did, which was Equinox gets a 300% strength bonus, and the Boar gets a 300% strength bonus. I also saw on Megan's screen that Harrow got a 300% range bonus, and the Supra got a 300% damage bonus. So I'm like, okay, that's a good way to kind of say if you want to take on a challenge and you get a good boon, this might be the hour to jump into that mission. So I think that's a very, very creative way to kind of push some variations, because if I'm going to be completely honest with you, one of the things about endless missions that I always thought was very toxic was the fact that you were kind of there in a set meta and you would sit there and farm and camp in a corner and just use the same frames over and over and over again. But with this kind of like boon, you know, you might get a leg up and you might actually go out and try different Warframes to kind of experiment with different metas. So I'm gonna give them a thumbs up on that one. Thumbs down on the lowering of level, thumbs up on the player boons. That's very, very creative. Now, the next thing that they wanted to do to kind of incentivize this game mode is that they changed the rotations. So instead of AABC, they're actually going to be changing it to ABCCCCC. All right, so as soon as you get through the first few, it's just going to be C rotation every single time. The only thing that I will say, it's a little bit different, is instead of 5-minute intervals, it's now going to be 10-minute intervals. So keep that in mind. In a survival, you usually get a prize at 5 minutes. This time, you're going to be getting a prize at 10 minutes. In defenses, you're going to get a prize at wave 10 instead of a prize at wave 5. So you will have to go through, you know, a 10-minute of round A, a 10-minute of round B. Then from that point on, 30 minutes plus, you'll be getting nothing but C's. So I think that's kind of a cool incentivization of this game mode. And, you know, for some people who are hunting for things, that's fantastic. They said that it would be a fairly good endo farm, which, if I'm going to be completely frank with you, is irrelevant. Endo is irrelevant to players who have been playing for a long time. Give us something other than Endo. Actually, they did give us something other than Endo. Ah, like that transition. Look at that. They're actually going to be giving us a cosmetic exclusive resource. This I am excited about until they finish their sentence, which was, this is going to be used to make ship decorations. Fuck ship decorations. I'm just gonna say now, fuck ship decorations. I'm sorry, I don't care about ship decorations. Now, if you use, but the idea of a cosmetic only resource, yes! We should have that in an armor set. There should be an armor set for elite alerts. There should be weapon skins for elite alerts. There should be helmets for elite alerts. There should be something to be able to wear out into the public. Cause I'm sorry, I haven't invited a single goddamn person onto my ship, so I don't give a fuck about ship decorations. I'm just telling you how it is. I don't care. Give me something that I can wear out. It's dressed to kill, all right? I'm not bringing enemies into my ship so that they can look around and then I can shoot them in my ship. That's not how it works. So, I think that they're on the right track. They're on the right track. I'm just encouraging them, just giving them a little push in the tush towards the right idea. Give us some armors, give us some weapon skins, give us something for our Kavats, our Kubros. There are Sentinels out there that still don't have certain weapon skins. I'm trying to spread the love out, right? In addition to that, they did say that they were going to give us an emblem that would glow in different intensities. They didn't really show it off, but I assume because they have a little kind of like logo next to the alerts, that is most likely going to be the emblem that they will use. The only thing that I will say is, what you need is you need to fulfill the thing that you didn't do with the Hunter's emblem. Okay? You need an emblem that will keep track of the time that we have spent in elite alerts. All right? I don't want this kind of like, oh, it resets at the end of the week because, you know, we have that conclave signed on that, you know, flares up at the beginning of the week and then disappears at the end of the week. That's really conclave. That's not enough to keep conclave going. Just like a little emblem that resets at the end of the week is not enough to keep elite alerts going. You know, just saying, have it keep track of all of the time that we spent. Put a number, put a insignia, maybe some 10-0 numbers or whatever you got to do in there. Let it be known. Oh, he's got an like 8K on his arm. That's how many hours or minutes that he spent in there. Let the new kids know that the veterans are not playing with them, and I'm gonna feel a little bit better, okay? Because I'll spend some time in some elite alerts, you know, if the fashions kick in. What else is there? So they've got all of those things going. Is there anything else that I've missed so far? There is. They've actually gone ahead and added 6 new mods. 2 of them sound very promising. The rest, I mean, you know, not everybody can be Beyonce. So let's go ahead and take a look at those mods real quick. They have a, do I leave that for the end? I'll leave that for the end. They have a self-damage reduction buff. So for all of those explosive weapons that you have out there, if you're like me, and if your weapon can deal damage to you, it will deal damage to you and you will die. It happens to me a lot. In fact, my poor Glaive Prime, I love it to death, but it has murdered me so many times. So that might be cool, but if it's a self-damage reduction buff, you need to add a little bit more to that, because giving up a mod slot just for self-damage reduction, it's one of those things where I'd rather just get good. you know? Now, if you could give an explosion range plus damage reduction buff, I got you right there. Get it a little explosion radius, you know what I mean? I'm in for that. But a self-damage reduction buff on its own is just not enough. It's just a get good buff. The next one out there is, this one's really, really interesting. This is actually an aura that they proposed. A 30% power reduction in your power strength for your Warframe. So this is an aura. Put in your aura slot, you get 30% less power strength. However, everybody else in your group gets plus 30% power strength. So that is 90% power strength straight out of the gate for the rest of your group, minus 30 for you. So really it's a 60% power strength. You know, it's just how it works. They did have a quick chat about like how would it be if everybody kind of had the same aura on. Would they all just cancel each other out, or would they be pluses? I think that that's a really, really interesting thought process to go through. But you know, it's interesting. That's how I'm gonna leave it at. The next one that they have, and this one is actually I lied. There's actually a couple good ones here. There's a couple good ones. The next one is a holster speed plus damage buff on the next shot. So basically what happens is when you holster a weapon, the weapon that you pull out, you'll be able to do bonus damage on the next shot with that weapon. I almost feel like that's good, but it's really gonna be weapon dependent, I guess you would say, because legitimately it could be one of those things where maybe a time, like a 5-second damage bonus, might be better than just bonus on the next shot. We'll have to see how that goes, but that is definitely interesting. They are taking some chances on this. The next one, I'm like, this could be really good, but I'd have to see how it actually works in practice, where you resist a damage type and it stacks up. So what they specifically said on the stream is, let's say if you took slash damage, you would get a buff on yourself that would reduce that by 20%, and it would stack all the way up to 90%. So to be able to have a 90% stacking damage reduction buff towards a specific damage type, that sounds kind of interesting and good. It's one of those things that I would need to get my hands on to practice and see how it feels like in actual gameplay. The thing about it is there's so many weapons out there that deal multiple damage types. Does that mean you're going to get a damage reduction to all of those types? Or would it mean that you get a damage reduction to the predominant type of damage? Things that we need to know. Still, more information, please. I would appreciate it. Regardless, that does sound really cool, and I would like to see it in practice. Alright, so the ones that I'm, like, jizzing over, okay? The ones I'm jizzing over is invulnerability at a roll. So, you roll to shed a proc, so number one, you're going to be able to get rid of a proc, and then you will be invulnerable for 3 seconds. Now, this does have a cooldown, and the efficacy of this mod, this potential mod that they were talking about, the power of it will be based on that cooldown. Like, is it a 10-second cooldown? Is it a 15-second cooldown? Is it a minute cooldown? Like, that's definitely something that we need more information on, but most likely they are still in the balance pass for that. Because 3-second invulnerability, well, 10 seconds might be too short, 15 seconds might be just right, 20 seconds might be too much. So, you know, I'm sure that they're going to play around with the numbers on that one. And the last one is a sniper rifle one. And I was like, okay, this could be good. But you get energy per headshot on a sniper rifle. Now, this is the kind of mod that we need. This right here is the kind of mod we need. I'm really, really excited about that. I'm thinking, like, maybe they should, like, some of the weirder stuff that they have, like the self-damage reduction buff or whatnot, they should kind of forego things like that and go for more like, oh, when you get precision shots, if you get, like, you know, precision shots on a, on an automatic rifle, it'll refund some of the ammo. Like, something along those lines. Like, every every headshot that you get on an automatic rifle will refund that ammo. Something along those lines. Or like on secondaries, whenever you get a kill with a secondary, you get, you know, a limited amount of time for a quick reload speed. I'm stealing this from Destiny 2 because these are buffs that Destiny 2 has. I'm just putting that out there. So that's definitely the kind of thing that I like to see. Energy on headshot from a sniper rifle sounds really fucking good, and I hope to see more of those kinds of mods for weapons, skill-based mods that are, you can really empower you. You know what I mean? I'm into that. So, with all the information that you guys have so far, are you excited about the elite alerts? I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was watching it live, I kind of felt like, oh, so this is just a mission and you're just not allowed to die. I've done that. I've been there. I've done that. Like, it looked, they were literally playing it like a normal standard mission. They did bring up sometime in the mission, not in the mission, but they were just chatting about it, that they would have, that they were playing around with bringing in, you know, some tactically advanced AI that would heal enemies or provide them with some form of utility, and that, I'm more interested in that than any of the rest of this, because Warframe AI has been super derpy and is actually one of like the things that they're not very good at. It's like I've started to play other games, of course Monster Hunter World, Destiny 2, and the AI in those games can kick your ass real bad. In Warframe, you can literally stand next to a Grineer that's like been crouched behind cover, and occasionally he'll peek up and go, blah, 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 and then he'll go back down behind cover, and I'm like, I'm standing next to you. You're not gonna try to hit me? Like, what's happening? So we all know that the AI is just a little bit derpy. So having them talk about advanced AI, and having them talking about like utility enemies that will heal other enemies and all that kind of stuff, kind of into that. Just don't have it be bland and boring like, you know, the Snow Globe Eximus or just like another nullifier type of enemy. Give us something interesting. Give us something different. Give us something that other AI will like group towards. I want to see it all. Make Warframe interesting. Make Warframe advanced. Don't let it like fall into the pit of everything is easy because we don't want to scare new players away. Let them get a little bit scared, because you know what? They're going to want to get better. They're going to want to improve, and they're going to invest more time in getting better in the game rather than crying over login rewards. And to be honest, that's more important, is to have a game that feels fulfilling and rewarding, not just something where the, you know, hot topic of the day is, why can't I have this weapon? Regardless, that does about do it for me for now. Leave all of your feelings down in the comments below about the elite alerts, as well as the mods that come along with them, or maybe you can leave some suggestions for some really cool mods that they could go ahead and incorporate, and maybe they'll go ahead and see that, and I don't know. I mean, they took the whole no deaths idea from me, so I'm assuming that they're probably checking the comment section too. Regardless, that about does it for me for now, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.